Hi everyone, it's Pika Codes. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to play around with the background size CSS property to create some really cool and creative hover effects for your links. Okay, so right now all I have is a set of links, like it's your navigation from your website, and I just added the CSS for the formatting, the color of the background, and the font. So we're going to start by editing our link element, and we're going to add a background to it that's going to be a linear gradient. And we're going to start it at 0 degrees, and let's just say that it's going to be red so that we see the difference. And there you see, right? So that's pretty much what we want to achieve, but when we hover on it. So what we're going to do is now we're going to set it to no repeat, and then we're going to start it on the right and the bottom. So we want to start it from 0, but 100%. So right now we don't see it, but let's try and show it on hover. And for that, we're going to change the same background size that we assigned over here. So let's say background size 100% and then 100%. So on both axes. So let's see what happens. So now we see it, but we want to kind of simulate the highlighting effect. So let's work on that a little bit more. For that, let's add a transition of, I don't know, 150 milliseconds. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, we're getting there. And, but we want it from the other side. So let's say background, position, X, and then from the left. So now we got it. It's a little too fast, so maybe 250 milliseconds. Okay, we're getting there. 350 milliseconds. Yeah, 350 milliseconds it is. And as you can see, it looks pretty much like you're highlighting it now, which and on its own, if we add a prettier color, maybe it'll look a little bit better. I'm gonna add a shade of pink, and that looks way better. So what we're gonna do now is maybe we can play around with the size here on the height, and then over here to maybe add a little bit more of a highlighting effect. There we go. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so for our second effect, we're going to make a sort of gradient underline. And for that, I'm back to my original links. I removed the text decoration, meaning I removed the underline and the blue font color. So, because we're actually going to create that with a background. So we're going to start with a background. That's, again, this one is going to be 2 linear gradients. One is going to be the regular underline, and the other one is going to be the effect that I'm going to show you in a bit. So we're going to start from left to right, and then this has to be the same color that we're using because it's going to be the underline. And right now it looks like that, but we'll play around with the background size. So let's create a different gradient that is going to be the effect gradient, and it's going to be made up of different colors. So let's say red, blue, purple. And of course, let's not forget our background repeat, no repeats. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our background size CSS property so that we can change the width and the height of the gradients that we just created. So let's say that for background size, the first value is going to be the width of the first gradient. You can always add multiple values separated by commas. So the first 2 are going to be the width and the height of the first gradient. So let's say, and 10%, and you can already see that, right? So the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a 0 on the other gradient and a 10% as well, because we want it to be the same height. So now it's on the top, and we don't want that, or we could, but right now I want it to be an underline. So let's say background position, and then we're going to change it upside down. And there we go. Okay, the underline is ready. Now let's go to the hover effect. Which is just going to be, it's just changing the size so that we reduce the width of the underline, the original underline that we have, and replace it by enlarging the second gradient. So let's create that. And for that, we're going to do background size, and we're going to reduce the width of the first one. So 0, keep the same height, and then expand the second one and keep the same height. So let's see how that looks like. Okay, you see how that looks like. But right now we are going to add a transition so it's a little bit smoother. Yeah, and now let me just modify the colors so that they at least match a little bit. And that's it. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the last effect is a little bit more tricky. It's a little bit harder, but we're gonna make it. And trust me, your portfolios are gonna be the coolest on the block, and everybody's gonna wanna hang out with you if you actually do this. Okay, so I started with the same things. I have the links. So what we're gonna do is we're going to, again, create a background image that's going to consist of a gradient. So this time, we're going to use a gradient, and then also from left to right, we're gonna go to the right, and then let's just say that we're going to choose a random color, red, then red. Yeah, that's right, you can see it, up to 50%, and then we're gonna pick this color that we already have over here. Just going to be up to 50% again. So why are we doing this? As you can see in the gradient, so we're gonna like super expand the width and the size of that little gradient that we created. And what's gonna happen is that on hover, we're gonna move across. When you hover over it, we're gonna show the color that's on the left, the red color. And when we're not hovering, we're going to be looking into the color of our actual link. So now the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna use, of course, our dear beloved background size. And like I said, we're gonna expand it, right? So width, we're gonna do double the size of our element. So as you can see now, we only see one side because we cut it right at the middle, in the middle. So we're gonna do that, and then 100 is going to be our normal height. Now for our position, here's the thing: since our gradient or the color that we want is on the other side, we have to locate the position of our background the other way. So we're gonna use another really cool property that is the background clip property. And this pretty much works like a stencil. That's basically what this does. So you have a background and you have a stencil on top. So your your element text in this case becomes a stencil. And that way it has to be transparent so that you show the background. So I know that's a little tricky, but we can see it in action. Also, I did notice that I didn't add the position word. Oops. Okay, so now that's what's happening. Okay, so what's happening is that we're already looking through that stencil. Actually, if you remove the clip, this is what happens. See? So the background is completely covering everything, but if you add the stencil, then you only see the letters. Okay, so now we have to create a pseudo element that is going to go before our current element. For background, we're going to select the same color we selected over here, which was red. Okay, and then what this is going to do, this is going to be like the underline of the link that we made disappear because we added a layer on top. So we're gonna position it like a link, obviously. So it's going to be underneath everything. So let's say 3 pixels. So what we're looking at right now is what's going to show up or like expand. So right now it's hidden. So let's say this is what the effect will actually make it look like. Let's say that we make it go to 10 pixels and you see there's an underline there. So if we actually make it go 100%, then it will cover the entirety of the link. But right now we don't want it to show yet. So we're just going to say 0. And then we're gonna start working on the hover. So right now nothing is happening, pretty boring, I know, but don't worry. We're about to transform everything. So we're gonna work on the first hover, and it's pretty simple, okay? What we wanna do is we wanna change the position of our background so that we show the other side of the gradient that is currently hidden. So, okay, let's go background, position, and then we're gonna move it to 0, because remember that it was minus 100. So it's offset, right? It's on the other side. So once you hover, now you see it's changing to the other gradient. Let's change the transition. Let's add a transition, 250 milliseconds. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's better. That's better. Okay, that looks a little better. That looks a little better. Okay, we're gonna leave it like that. And then we're going to change the colors, of course, as well. But now we have to also add the hover to the before element, the underline. Okay, so for that, we're going to add a hover and then before. And what we're going to do for this one is now we're going to make the width 100%. So it covers everything. And again, so look at this. Okay, you see that? But we want it to go like at the same speed as the other element. So let's copy this transition. And let's say 8 ease in 2. Okay. Pretty cool, huh? It's like a swap kind of thing. And the one thing that I was telling you about is that we should add, so I removed the text decoration, I think. We can add that over here. And that looks pretty cool. And look at this. Okay, and now I'm just gonna change the colors so it looks a little bit more aesthetic. Yes. Isn't that amazing? Go off. Okay, this will make you the most popular kid in the block. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on social media. I'll leave all the links down below, as well as the links to the code pen for this so that you can try it out. Also, feel free to tell me if you would have done this differently or what you would tweak or change from this to make it better. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.